right, we're back with another Boss Steel Blades exclusive. Today we're looking at a GEC Cutlery 35 in smooth whiskey barrel oak. This is knife number 352325. Let's get into the model. So GEC Cutlery has put out the 35s again, and they did it in a beer and sausage knife. And that's what this is. This model, the covers are smooth whiskey barrel oak. So they're actually using the oak wood that was used on a whiskey barrel. So here, beer and sausage is from Tidioute Cutlery, bar tool knife. And the reason that it's called a bar tool knife is because of the extra accessories that come on the knife other than just the blade. Stickers that Joel always throws in. Here is your pin for the knife, beer and sausage bar tool knife. So, yeah. And I like the tube there. So, just clear the deck a little bit. So, the knife is on a 35 pattern, so equal end cigar with a spear point blade, cut swedge, long pull, BNS for your billboard, and the accessories that come with this one is a fork with a bottle opener and a comb. So yeah, I mean, this is a stylized knife. Some people don't like these. Some people think that these are gimmicky. When I saw that they were coming out in the whiskey barrel oak, I knew that I wanted to move on these. Again, this is the smooth version. So they did smooth, distressed, and charred. And this is the smooth, and I can really dig this. That wood looks really good. So here is their included write-up of the whiskey barrel oak. So United States use white oak for their whiskey barrels. You can pause and read. What's relevant as far as the different whiskey models are concerned is this right here. So they have, again, they have charred, distressed, and smooth or saw cut. So the interior charred surface of the pieces of wood from the barrel are where the charred come from. The smooth is the inner, and the exterior or distressed is the outside of the barrel. This example is the smooth. So, like I said, equal end cigar, and what you're talking about this one on this one is 3 different springs. So a spring for each tool. Cam tangs, so no half stops. I did hear on a review from Knife Thoughts in preparing for this that the comb has a rounded tang. It looks like it does. And then you've got, of course, the fork. Yeah, some people don't like this. Some people think that it's gimmicky. I don't mind it. It's not my favorite thing, but I understand where they're going with it. Just, you know, doing kind of a stylized knife. It almost reminds me of a case hobo knife. Almost, and I've heard people talk about that. I've heard people reference that this is GEC's version of a hobo knife, which I don't think that it is. Again, I've heard in that same Knife Thoughts review, him talk about how this came along and everything. And I don't remember him saying that Bill Howard set out to make his version of a hobo knife. So, I mean, I don't think that was the idea behind this as they got going. I think things just kind of progressed how they did. The action on this one is okay. It could be a harder snap, although I don't think I would want the pull real strong because there's no pinching this. There's just too much going on there. So the action's okay. I like the build of it. This has got to be a difficult thing to do, to get all these tools in here and have it fitting right. So I'll say that they did a good job with that. The original Beer and Sausage came out in 2020. And let me just check myself here. The original whiskeys, which came out in the 78 line, came out in 24. So I missed on the original whiskeys. The original whiskeys were 78s. I don't think the Great Eastern Cutlery did any whiskey barrel knives before those 78s. So this is the second time they've done it. Like I said, when I heard that these were coming, I really wanted to get in on it. Fluted bolsters, polished whiskey barrel oak on that shield. That's nice, that's classy. I can dig that. Yeah. They did a good job on these. The comb, BRR, stamped on it, BRR tool, beard refuse removal tool. So if you're drinking beer and eating sausage and you get food in your beard, this is for getting it out. I haven't tried to use the beard comb. But I don't know, I've heard mixed reviews on it. And a lot of people don't like the model because of the comb. I mean, a lot of people turn away because of that. The fork has a really good pull on it. I like the fact that they put a bottle opener on there. I don't know. I don't know that I would ever use this to actually, eat with. But I think that it's an interesting model, and I think that they did a good job with it. So, 2024, the original whiskeys. 2020, the original beer and sausage knife. Yeah. That wood is interesting. The distressed is really interesting, and the charred is very, almost reminds me of when they put out knives with oily creek bone, and you've got bone with a large dark spot in the middle. That's almost what the charred reminds me of. I was glad to see this smooth whiskey barrel come out, just because this seems much more consistent. The color is much lighter. I can dig the lines there. That gives it character. The 35 is an interesting pattern. I had a Churchill at one point that I traded. I was never too big a fan of the Churchill. It was, I think it was with a clip point blade. And I got it early on, maybe 2017, something like that. And I think I got it on release. And just beat up on it. I was surprised when I made the trade with it that the fellow wanted it. But I hear it's a popular model now. This one I like better. I like the 35 with a spear blade much more. I don't know. I think it's just more fitting to the knife. I like that these tools sit really low from an ergonomic standpoint. They're really not in the way. Heavy pull on the fork, light pull on the comb, but I mean, that's what you've got to get the comb out. So, you can't really put a real heavy pull on that. You would just rip yourself up. I don't know. The combs weren't, there was another model that the combs were on. I forget what number it was, but a lot of guys didn't like it because of that. Like I said, I can dig it on this. It is kind of, I don't know, I want to say gimmicky, but it is, this isn't what you're going to buy when you say, I want, you know, my ultimate pocket knife. This is kind of its own thing, and it is kind of stylized, and yeah. But I think it's interesting. I like it. I'm glad that I picked it up. Interesting the way all that sits in there. Let's have a look around. So 2.5 blade, 2 3/4, oh, 2 3/4 total, 2.5 cutting, and what, 3 and between 3.5 and 3 3/4 total handle. Not flush at half at all, but cam tangs. And let's look. Well, yeah, maybe a couple gaps. I thought we were going to be gap free, but a little bit of light coming through. Not much. And I don't see anything from the outside. Nothing. Looks like they did a good job with that. This is a fairly busy knife. And it kind of lacks what you get out of, say, a sheep's foot being in there, which kind of sticks up, makes it look even more busy. I mean, this is all, these tools are tucked in really well. So while there's a lot going on, it's not as apparent just from the profile. But I think it looks good. I dig it. I want to bring it out. I wanted to show it. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on the whiskey models, on the 35, on the beer and sausage knives? Where do you guys land on them? Did you get one? Did you pass on it? Is it not your thing? Get down in the comments, let us know, and I'll see you guys on the next video.